The Maxx Crosby dream is dead. If it's not Trey Hendrickson, who else could it be? And Brandon Aubrey gets hit with the tender. Good morning, Metroplex. We are off and rolling here on Shan and RJ. It's NFL free agency week. No naps for me. So 11 a.m. today, right? Like, we'll start getting the deals that are done, and then they'll officially be announced on Wednesday. But 11 a.m. today to check all the fan timelines and, of course, live during the KNC Masterpiece.
11 a.m. Central, you'll start seeing some stuff break where it's like, this is miraculous. It only took them 1 minute to negotiate when they were allowed to legally tamper. How are they able to get those terms done so quickly? So you'll get those negotiations, and then, it's Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central. Everything starts becoming official.
Crosby gone for 2 firsts in Baltimore. The Cowboys apparently offered 12 next year's second and a player. We think that player is Osa Odigizua. They placed the second-round $5.76 million tender on Brandon Aubrey. Aubrey now can sign an offer sheet with another team that the Cowboys would have a right to match. If they don't, they would get a second-round pick back. Just as a reminder, where things stood in terms of the negotiation, Todd Archer, sources said the Cowboys' offer was close to $7 million on average. Harrison Butker leads the league at around 5.5. And Todd France, Aubrey's agent, asked for an offer closer to $10 million a year. So right now, the tender that he would play on, as it stands, would make him the third highest paid kicker in the league. Butker, 6.4, and that fool Jake Elliott in Philadelphia at 6.
I don't know. If I'm Todd France, if I'm Aubrey, I just go ahead, I sign the tender, and I just play on that. Because what they're going to want to do, Dallas has all the leverage right now. Like, they can say, you got to play on this. Okay, so you got to play for 5.7. You can ask for 10 to 12 all you want, or whatever else you'd be asking for. You got to play on this. So,
well, why would I do what you said instead of call everyone around the league and get my 8, 10, or according to Adam Schefter, maybe even 12?
Because I think they would say, we'd love to pay you $8 million, but we don't want to pay you $8 million and give a second-round pickup. You're not worth that.
Right.
So
if he doesn't sign the tender, what happens?
He would be just basically like, it'd be like not signing the tag. You'd be sitting, they've got your rights. You're controlled. You can't just not sign and go somewhere else. He'd be holding out essentially. But he's tagged. It's like, I mean, he's got the tender on him now. That second round tender, that's locked in. He's got to play for at least that deal, or else he doesn't play anywhere. And so to me, it's like, sign the tender, ride it out another year, hit free agency, create some sort of leverage other than signing in for 5 years potentially at a rate that you don't think you deserve.
You know, the only other problem with that is he's 30, and we know how finicky things are with closers and kickers. And if he has a beginning or middle like he had the end of last year, all of a sudden, like the Brandon Aubrey super, I mean, it is a high damn standard to live up to. Now, he's really, really good, so I would bet on him, doing it, but your market gets dinged a little. There's a little bit of doubt. You start missing some of those 54-yarders that everyone thinks you're automatic for, and all of a sudden, the value drops.
One little tweak of a hamstring, one little anything, right? It could just...
Tweak of a mind.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's what did Dan Bailey in. Dan Bailey just mentally broke. And, I mean, similar, Brett Maher misses a kick, and then it's like, all of a sudden he can't make extra points in a playoff game, it's over.
You get one major spot that you're in, and, laces in, right? You're late. No, I mean, like, they'll tell you the laces are a big part of it.
Thanks, Marino.
And you get the laces in the wrong spot. I mean, is that your fault?
Right.
But the way the numbers
the noise
work,
that comes with it.
The noise that comes with it is your fault. And, the NFL owners aren't using nuance when it comes to contracts. They're going to try to get the best deal they possibly can.
But, I mean, it's also the flip side of that is true, too, which is...
Oh, yeah, he starts making 68-yarders and never misses them.
No. I mean, if the rest of the league is going to continue to start making the stuff that Aubrey was making like they were last year when they had the new kicking balls, where it's like, okay, if the league starts, if everybody's making 60 and you're showing me you do what 8 other people in the league have shown they can do, what am I paying you for? Like, I can go find that from other people. And so that's the other risk is like, do you wait on trends going a certain direction that end up proving or showing like, hey, the rest of the league can do this too. You're not unique enough to pay this.
All right, Choppy, lay out the Brandon Aubrey scenarios.
All right, assuming he signs the tender, which why wouldn't he, as Bobby said. Option A, which one do you want to happen? Option A is no team offers him anything. He plays for the $5.7524 million tag, and then they worry about the future next year. That's option A.
Mm-hmm.
Option B is some team offers him $8 million a year on a contract, and the Cowboys match.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's option B.
Which would be insane.
Option C is some team offers him a deal the Cowboys do not match, and they take the second round pick. I'm okay with any of them, to be honest with you. You know, if they don't match, I get the second rounder. If they do match, I mean, I wouldn't love a 4-year, $32 million deal, but man, there's nothing to be more demoralizing than having a bad kicker. Like, having a good kicker is one thing, that's great. Having a bad kicker just feels like it's so much worse.
Yeah.
It's so much more penal than having a good kicker.
Do you feel like kicking is like basically you either have a good kicker that you're confident in or a bad one? There's no like, oh, our kicker's okay. Like, you either trust your kicker or you don't.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to those game scenarios close enough with everyone else. I think the one thing, I understand your argument, Bobby. I'm not here to have an all-out war over it. I think you're taking a little bit for granted. For me, those moments in the game where I'm cutting it to a one score and I absolutely have to have it, those are such sighs of relief for me. Or the momentum going into halftime, or getting that 2-score lead, and you can do it with a 62.
There's a lot of pressure on the offense. You got to score a touchdown. I mean, like, if you imagine
both ways.
Yeah. Like, is it more maddening to have a bad kicker than it is like relief to have a good one? I mean, I think it is. I think if you have a bad kicker, I'm much more like.
I mean, I don't know. I really don't go with bad kickers around here for a while.
I was going to say that I don't assume that. See, that's the thing, is that I think a lot of people feel like, well, if you take Aubrey away, it could get bad really fast. And it's like, I don't think the likelihood is that they're just all of a sudden they can't find somebody to make kicks. Like, I don't think they find somebody to make kicks as often as he does or as well as he does.
Yeah.
But I do think it's like, I think I find somebody that does it consistently enough that I'd say, well, I'd much rather have a second-round pick. The worst of those to me, if they sign him for $8 million, whatever, they sign him for $8 million. I'm not going to love it, but if they do it, they do it. But if they sign him for $8 million because they're matching what somebody else offered, it's like you just turned down a second. You could tell me Aubrey's going to become what he became. And if I was staring at picking that in the second round, I would go, do not pick a kicker in the second round. Right, I would rather have the second-round pick. And so to me, I would be fine. If he plays on the tender, cool. If somebody else signs him, gives him money, even if they sign him to an $8 million extension. But if somebody offers it and they match it, my head would explode.
And we did the defensive end drop-off, and we'll do it again for Crosby when you hit 29, 30, 31. We need to do a kicking study drop-off. Because, again, we're talking about him at 30. Is he making these kicks at 32 and 33? Now, there's been a lot of old-ass kickers, but, how much are they relying on the power that he does? Now, Aubrey's a big dude, right? We saw with the golf swing how much power. If you tell me he's going to be Brandon, again, all this is part of the question mark. If you tell me he's going to be Brandon Aubrey for the next 3 years, then I'm okay with the $8 million match. Otherwise, I want the second rounder. So I got to weigh, is he going to be this for 2 or 3 seasons? Because, man, it's tough to turn down a second.
It's tough. I assume it hasn't really dawned on me like that he's going to lose a lot over the next couple of years. I'd be more worried about the mental aspect than I would be about the physical aspect of kicking.
Yeah.
Because you're right, we have seen some really, really old kickers. Now, Vinatieri at the end, I mean, he wasn't kicking 55, 60-yarders. He was living in the 40s, right? This is the way Justin Tucker, I mean, he was getting up there in age, and he hit the 66-yarder a couple years ago.
Nick Folk is 41.
Yep.
Brandon Aubrey went 11 for 17 from 50 last year, 50-plus. Nick Folk was 7 of 8. So, Nick Folk was hitting them relatively consistently. Last year, Aubrey
took time off, didn't he?
Who? Folk?
Nick Folk? Wasn't he out of the league for like a year or two?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the league made him take time off. I don't know that he took it. But, no, last year, Nick Folk, or Brandon Aubrey, if you take league qualifying kickers, Aubrey was 15th in field goal percentage. And there's a bunch of kickers making about as many 50-yarders as he did.
Pay, what are the totals saying on the Frankel and Frankel fan text?
903. Aubrey, you could say, could be the MVP of the team the last couple seasons. Didn't the 49ers kicker just get paid? If the Jets sign Aubrey, do we get their second and ours back? So the fan text kind of all over the place right now.
Yeah, how do they determine which second? If a team offers you a second and they have 2 second-round picks.
It's got to be your original one.
It has to be the original one. Well, the Jets would be good.
We usually do. Well, why would the Jets?
Right.
We should look at the second round. And a team like Schefter had thrown out the Rams, so we should look and see who Aubrey makes sense for. Doesn't make any sense for a scrub.
Right.
Right. And then if I tell you it's at the end of the second versus middle of the second round, I don't think someone's giving up a top of the second round pick. That makes a difference.
I just had to look here. So there were 10 kickers that attempted at least 50, or 10 kickers that attempted at least 10 50-plus field goals last year. So they're kicking them with some regularity. Aubrey was 9th out of 10 in field goal percentage from 50.
Really? I'm stunned. I'm stunned by that.
Yeah, I am too. That's the...
Now, the difference is obviously he can do 70, and it goes 50-plus. That's how they track it in the NFL. So, I mean, the difference here is he can kick 68 sometimes. Yeah, and so there's a difference in terms of the distance, but...
We have to see how many of those misses were 65-plus. But that's also the allure of the star.
Stop me. Yeah, the hype.
Yeah, he's in. I mean, how many of these kicks did he make? We see once a narrative is said about somebody, we've talked about this, it's very difficult for that narrative to sway.
Stop me when you hear a team. I'm going to go in order in the second round. Stop me when you hear a team where it makes sense, and your pressure's going to be on you to know their kicking situation too. Jets, no. Arizona, no. Tennessee, no. Vegas, no. Giants, no. Houston,
no.
Cleveland, no. Kansas City, they have Butker. Cincinnati, no. They have a good kicker. New Orleans, no. Miami, no. Jets, no. Baltimore, who was their Tucker replacement?
Tyler Loop, who went 30 of 34 last year.
No. Tampa Bay. Now we're getting in the middle of the second.
Tampa Bay has Chase McLaughlin, who went 32 of 38 last year, including 11 of 12 from 50.
No. Indianapolis.
Indianapolis has, I don't see, maybe Indy. They only had Spencer Schrader, who went 13 for 14, so he was finished the year for them.
And Indy,
we don't know.
We'll see what happens with Daniel Jones. I would bet against them. I don't know.
Try to trick Carly Gordon is what you're suggesting.
Having the year that they had last year to start off. Then Atlanta, Minnesota, Detroit, Carolina, Green Bay, Pittsburgh. Those teams are like kind of smack there in the middle of the second round.
Pittsburgh. Get Big Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, you remember how great it was having Brandon Aubrey? The only problem is Chris Boswell kicked pretty well for them last year.
That's an awful place to kick, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, we just take a look at it. Like, if you look over last year, like, there's not just like a lot of teams with kicking problems. Detroit had kicking problems last year. Arizona had kicking problems. Those are two teams that had it.